Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of Psychiachix. We have got today the usual suspects. Dr Kirsty Alderton, hello.
Dr Chloe Sakal, you've made me sound like a criminal. Thank you,
I'm not
Kirsty.
pointing.
No point.
Don't get it wrong.
And I am Dr Nataly Gibson, also a psychiatrist.
Also Nataly Gibson.
Yeah, either or. You know, I'm not defined by my job. But
Not at all. Not at all. Right, so this week we are going to be talking about just something I read in a book recently, something really interesting that kind of caught my attention. So there's this lady, she was a nurse in Australia, and she worked in palliative care. So she worked with people at the end of their life, and she collected stories, comments, kind of data from all of the people she worked with in the last 12 weeks of their life. And basically, she was asking them what their top regrets were. Okay, so she collated this information, and now we have the top 5 regrets of the dying. Right, it might sound a little bit morbid, but it's really important, because the point of what she was trying to share is to help people to kind of, can we learn from this? Can we learn from what people on their deathbeds ultimately have to say? So we're going to go through each one at a time and just see where the mood takes us. Okay.
Go for it. Hit us, Kirsty.
All right. Number 1. I mean, take a deep breath. I mean, I'm glad I've still got time.
Just because people might be interested, could you tell us the name of the book?
Yeah, sure. So the book that I'm reading at the moment, I mean, I'm always reading a book, aren't I? So
very studious. Yeah.
I love a personal development book. So this book is called The Imposter Cure, and it is about imposter syndrome, which we're going to cover in a different episode in its entirety. But does anyone want to cover what imposter syndrome is quickly now, or should we just get on with the regrets?
I mean, imposter syndrome is sort of what it says on the tin. It's when you don't feel good enough, basically. You feel like an imposter, like you're not worthy, like you're not up to your achievements or how great you truly are. But we'll talk about it in another episode in more detail, I think.
Yeah.
Look out for it.
Exactly. Look out for it. Some people have a real fear of being found out. Those of you who suffer from this will know what we're talking about. So we'll cover that in another episode. So, right. Top regret, number 1. Are we ready?
Number one.
I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me.
Wow, that is powerful. That is so powerful, I think.
Really powerful and quite painful.
Yeah. I mean, that certainly really speaks to me, guys.
It speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it's really sad that so many of us go through our lives living for other people's expectations of us in so many different ways. You know, what we think society wants us to be, what we think society wants us to do for a job, how we should dress, how we should talk, how we should act. It's really sad. It's your life. You get one shot at this. We get one shot at this. And if you spend your entire life not committing to the things you want and need, it's going to be pretty big regret on your deathbed.
Yeah. I heard a way to think about it, which I thought was really, really powerful and interesting, was what you're doing. You're living your life according to what you think somebody else's expectations are. Sorry, that sounds like it's a bit inception-y, but it's like inside a thing. So basically, you're living your life based on what you think that person wants you to do. You don't actually know for sure because you're not psychic. Yeah. So you're basically living like a twice removed version of yourself.
Yeah. So you don't even really know. You're just guessing what society wants you to be.
And it might not even be a single person's view. It might just be like a group. It's like a role, isn't it? Of like, I think the whole of society thinks that, whatever, mums should behave like this. Therefore, every time I do something within my role as a mum, I guess I'm always thinking that's probably not how it should be done. That's probably not how someone else should do it. And no one's ever said that to me.
It's just all very unspoken sometimes, isn't it?
Gosh,
And also, who makes these rules?
Who makes the rules?
Are they on some tablet from God that he came down from the mountains? Like, where the hell have they come from?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to the manager, please.
I think I don't know about you guys, but I do see this in my clinical practice with patients a lot. When patients say, "Oh, but I couldn't possibly do that," or "I'm so stressed, I've got these deadlines, I've got to go to work, etc." And I say, "Well, can you just not?" And they say, "No, I couldn't possibly. I've got to get the work in. Otherwise, society will think I'm lazy. My boss will hate me. I'll be a failure." And it's like, maybe you just don't want to do it. Maybe you just don't want to be.
Assumption.
Yeah.
Lots of what I call should comments. I think I've talked about these before. If you find yourself saying should a lot in your mind, so I know some people get, not me, but some people get very guilty about like getting up late, like on the weekend or maybe on furlough, whatever. I mean, I definitely don't. But some people get really like, oh my God, I got up late, shit. And I said, why? Well, I should. Oh, you're shoulding. Don't do that.
Yeah. And it causes a lot of conflict, doesn't it, like internally, and that's kind of that stress and anxiety, like we were saying, between what you want to do and what you think you should be doing, and there's this constant tension, and it's really uncomfortable, and it causes burnout, it causes physical symptoms. If you're wondering why you're knackered all the time, it's because you're constantly kind of having a battle between like, what do I want? I mean, when was the last time lots of people sat down and thought, what do I want? Not what's in the best interests of the family or
financial
friends, or how do you tap into that bit of you to find out what's true? Because it might have been there when you were like 7, 8, 9, that real pure kind of authentic you, and then bit by bit it got kind of chipped at and taken out. So how do we get back?
I've got a patient in therapy, and we're talking about this exact thing. And what we found was, and I'm sure it's true for a lot of people, is, like you said before, when we were children, we were carefree and we were led by our instincts, and then life sort of hammers that out of you, especially in the type of society we live in. And what we found was she never actually had time. If you look at like her life and where she, went to uni, if you actually look at her life, there was no time for just her. Everything she did or was doing was goal orientated. So it was to look good. That would look good on my CV, or that would. There was no time just to be. It didn't exist because she thought that was a bad thing. That made you lazy. We don't have the time.
I think we sort of speak about this as if it's not easy to just be authentic. It's really difficult and work at it. There are situations, I'm thinking maybe, for example, in the war there was a condition called combat stress, where people didn't want to go to war. So young men, they were frightened, they didn't want to be on the front line, but if they refused, they were shamed and ostracized from society, or possibly even shot. So there are situations where actually society has created this impossible situation for people. Like you live your authentic self, and you're shamed or ostracized. A bit like the time I decided to stop shaving my legs,
that time.
I'm living for that. It's very similar to like if you've got like quite a strict sort of family values, if you come very religious or cultural things, and you're not abiding by those rules, it's kind of the same thing, on a different scale. I don't know, because your family are your people you live with, as opposed to wider society. And if they're saying you're not living your life right, you're doing this wrong, stop doing that. And how damaging that can be.
Exactly. What happens when your authentic self goes against the mainstream? It goes against societal, goes against the current status quo, the current power structure. It can become really difficult.
And I think, certainly for kind of women and mums especially, there's this idea that a mum will become completely selfless, and we've talked about this before, that would be the ultimate goal, the ultimate compliment would be like, oh, she's such a selfless woman. And then that the kind of the epitome of womanhood is for a woman to completely lose herself to please others. I was reading something recently, and it's about generations of kind of when we've had children and the kind of memo that gets passed along. So it's from a really interesting book, but it's like, you know, our grandmother's memo was, here's the baby, take it home, let it grow, speak when spoken to, get on with your life. Mum's memo, here's your baby, take it home, get together, have drinks with your friends, smoke some cigarettes, let the kids out of the house and let them in to eat and sleep. And then our memo, right? This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the hole in your heart that will be filled, and you'll finally be complete when your child comes. And if you feel anything other than utter fulfillment, you need to seek counseling immediately.
You're broken.
Yeah, you're broken.
You're broken. You're wrong.
You're going to feel all sorts of things.
How's that changed over,
Yeah.
The position we're in?
Yeah.
I'm going to plug my laptop in. Carry on.
Guys, if you could live an authentic life, to think about the one thing you'd want to do, perhaps, is there anything that comes to mind that you think that's the life, or the job that I want, or the one thing I'd love?
It's probably going to happen now post lockdown, but I'm not going to wear a bra anymore.
What? I'm not wearing a bra today.
I haven't worn a bra since March 15th. I'm loving it.
Wow.
Like, screw that. Why am I? It's so like, because now when I put one on, I'm like, can't breathe.
I do. When I was at school, I had a friend, and I used to go around to their house, and like, he had a mum who just like never wore a bra, but she used to just walk around the house. She'd be like, I just love it. I like to have.
I bet she was the happiest woman.
I know I will never be that woman. And now I'm like, oh, I don't really want the ones with wires in. Oh, it's like, why?
They're the devil's work. I'm not wearing them anymore. PSA, everyone, not wearing a bra, script.
Yeah. I'm slowly bringing in hairy legs into the mainstream fashion. It's coming. I'm doing it.
It's totally coming. I've seen it loads of times. No one gives a shit anymore.
It's going to be fashionable in about 10 years, I reckon.
Keeps you warm.
Yeah, I'm bringing it in.
I think I'm more likely to just like dance on a table as much as possible, everywhere and anywhere.
Mid-ward round.
I mean, that's all I want to do really at work, is just bust some moves out.
I'll join you in that. I'll see with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh, right. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
I am plugging my laptop in because, you know.
I can read out the next one.
Electricity required.
So the next one is. So the next regret is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard.
What's it all for? What is it all for? Dedicating our lives to work.
It's a trap. It's a trap. We don't have
chasing or running away from. I don't know. Pick one.
It is a trap. Yeah. What are we avoiding? What are we?
Where are we trying to? I don't know. What are we trying to get? I mean, I guess I see working hard in like lots of different ways, and there's kind of like this idea of people who are already really successful who just can't help but keep working hard because it never feels enough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of knowing and just stopping and being like, do you know what, this is enough, and I'm okay, because people aren't satisfied with their achievements either. So so that can happen. And then I guess, what's the other working hard? I don't know. Is it studying hard? Is it manual labor hard? Like,
I mean, some people, it's totally fair enough if you love, you're really passionate about your job, and
that's slightly different though, isn't it? I think from that I got, for me, that sounded like work, like job work, or some, and it sounded like you don't really want to do it.
Yeah, like there's a detriment to it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It reminds me of a quote from King Bob Marley, who said, numbers are infinite. So if you're always chasing money, if you're always chasing numbers, you'll never be happy because they're infinite. There's no end point.
So
the only way to be happy is to be in the now and stop and smell the flowers, because I'm sure even, Jeff Bezos, trillionaire in a pandemic wank stain, wants more.
Yeah.
So oh shit, oh well, this quarter wasn't as good, so they, it just doesn't end.
But always more money and power, and then when you get to the end of your life, it's like you can't take that beyond.
There's no pockets in a shroud.
Yep.
But it is okay to want. It is okay to want more, and it is okay to want to be successful. But I think the only way that you can like truly feel fulfilled with that is if you feel fulfilled with what you have already. You can't move on to the next thing if you're constantly chasing. You'll never feel fulfilled.
Yeah, I don't mean to shame anybody who you know goes for achievements or power of money. That's absolutely fine. It sounds.
I think
like
what we're talking about is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like when it's to the detriment of yourself, and you feel like you have to be working and have to get more money and power.
Yeah,
should.
Yeah, yeah. That's your bag. That's okay.
I mean, if you like working hard, come work for the NHS.
Yeah, I was gonna ask girls, do you think we've worked hard? I don't know, what's hard or smart? We should work smart, not hard.
I mean, my life has been, wow, you know, the academic achievements you have to collect to get to this position.
Good word.
And pay for.
Yeah,
you have to pay for them
after my name. And I do wonder, wow, what does this mean? What are these letters?
I tell you when that turned around for me, because I know we're all medics here, and for people who don't know, sort of when you go to medicine, it's very you know, you go through the medic mill. Basically, you go through med school and they spit you out the other end, a doctor, to be selfless and give your life to your job. When I was very much like that, and I used to work like a dog until I got very sick when I was working, and I'm talking big sick. Had to take a year off sick, chemotherapy sick. And I remember when I first started getting sick, and I was in the A&E of the hospital I worked in. I think I've said this before, and I was, you know, trying not to die, and I was doing nights that weekend, and all I could think about was shit.
Yeah.
I've got nights to do, you know, completely, you know, so unhealthy. I wasn't thinking about not dying. And I rang the admin, the rota person, to be like, I snuck out of my bed in A&E to go to the phone in the middle of the night, and rang them, was like, oh, you know, I left a message like, oh, I can't come in, I'm in A&E. And I got a thing the next day, and it's like, well, you know, it's like really inconvenient. So you're missing Friday night. Are you going to come in Saturday night?
Inconvenient. Your illness.
Sorry.
Ian, Natalie.
And there's that moment when I was like, fuck you.
Yeah. That is outrageous.
So I think there's a message in there, isn't there, about kind of being able to hold yourself in mind somewhere amongst all of that, because otherwise you're at the mercy of something bigger than you, like a system. And
also you can't, like we've talked about before, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're working yourself to the ground, if it's for a business, if it's for the NHS, if it's whatever it's for, you're not going to be able to be the best you, put 100% in if you're dying.
Yeah. You must look after yourself first. You cannot help others if you are.
Don't die.
Yeah, I tried to do that twice.
Please don't die.
I'm glad you didn't, mate. I'm glad you didn't, Natalie. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Persist.
Okay. Should we read
out
3?
Yeah, go on then, Chloe.
Go on.
Regret of the dying, number 3. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings.
Oh, can you imagine, like, the little, like, I don't, you know, just people just saying, oh, I wish I'd been able to say what I was feeling. It's so sad.
Tell the people I love that I love them, to cry when I needed to cry, to say when I'm not okay or something isn't okay, or I'm sad or I'm angry. Oh,
I think as a psychiatrist, this is like a whole job, isn't it? Either getting people to do that, or like dealing with the consequences when they don't, and then they have like a crisis.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for, isn't it? Psychiachix is to help you just say these things, but easier said than done. And actually, I think, you know, we forget sometimes how kind of open we can be and how easy we find it to talk to each other. But lots of people really, really don't, and they go through kind of their whole life, and they might not tell their closest friend, family member, partner, whatever, like what they're feeling.
It's the fear of being vulnerable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because your emotion, you know, my emotions, it's all about becoming vulnerable to someone else, and to some people that is just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, and I do think society has got a lot to answer for over the years. You know, there are certain stereotypes like a real man doesn't cry,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Or that it's weak to cry, it's weak to show emotion, and of course it isn't. It's not.
Yeah.
It's great.
The
It's
kind of
part of the
British.
it's
Yeah.
part of the human condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we you know, here we have sort of that British attitude, don't we? Of, you know, don't show your emotions. We keep everything together. But lots of other cultures don't. If you watch other cultures mourn, for example, if you've ever seen it, and you know, people are shocked, like, what are they doing? But they're doing it. I think they're doing it right, to be quite honest. Like, get it out, use your body. Like, literally, they use the whole body, and they mourn, and they kind of express everything that they need to express. And I think it's probably better kind of like out there than it is just held
into where it can cause destruction. It must be really cathartic just to be like, here is my grief.
Should we just do it?
Yeah, okay.
1, 2, 3. Whoa!
Did anyone else make that sound?
It's great.
All
That's
gone.
great. Just get all that emotion
Shake
out.
your sillies out. Shake them out. Shake those sillies out.
Oh gosh. And I suppose it's not just there's so many different emotions people feel, and I think I know a lot of people who don't always tell other people that they really care, or that they love them, or how people are to. I mean, I like to make a conscious effort to, you know, every now and again check that in with my friends and say, just a reminder, you're really important to me. But I think
I do that.
yeah, I think people worry about being vulnerable again, showing too much.
Never too much.
No.
Give me all the vulnerability is sexy as hell. Give it to me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I do that as well. I do like a little WhatsApp check-in. I do a little every now and again when I'm thinking of people. I just give a little love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Just a reminder.
Yeah, and showing your feelings might, to some people, might be like, oh, that means crying and getting upset. But what was that? I guess what we're saying is just saying how you feel is enough. Yeah, doesn't have to be crying.
There's no right or wrong way to be vulnerable.
No.
And maybe if you're not used to it, then you just do it in little bits. Vulnerable doesn't mean in floods of tears all the time.
No.
What about
And
anger?
vulnerability is strength, as we know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chloe, say that again.
What about
vulnerability? Go on. What have you got?
anger?
Chloe, you say. Sorry, I'll just speak again. Don't mind me.
You can always speak over me, Kirsty.
Sorry, could you just? I've got something else.
What about anger? I think anger is interesting an emotion because, I suppose there is a difference between being angry and aggressive to somebody and stating, actually, I feel quite angry right now. I think there's a big difference.
Yes. You can be angry and not be violent.
Yeah.
It's still an emotion that you need to express. It's just like the rest of them, but just maybe don't punch everyone.
Yeah.
Try not to.
If you work on, I think there is a way that you can express that. If you really do feel angry with somebody, you say, actually, I do feel quite angry right now, and I wonder what that's about. We talk about this.
Yeah, I think it can be really damaging to tell yourself a story that anger's not okay, that anger makes you a bad person, that anger, people don't get angry, I'm bad for feeling angry, and all of those. I mean, those things will literally. It
is actually linked to depression, isn't it? People who don't feel angry are much more likely to suffer with depression, because actually we do all feel angry, but the people who push it away, like Kirsty said, you're more likely to then go on to develop depression.
So in therapy they say that there's like a peak, a mountain, on one side is anger and the other side is sadness, and you pick one, or it's in a ratio, and you pick one. So if you're pushing down your anger, you're more on the sad side, because they're kind of their root is the same. It's very interesting. And you can see in different people when they choose to either be sad or angry, that those are the two options you have unconsciously, and different depending on your disposition, personality, whatever, you'll pick one or the other, or in different ratios.
or I guess, or fluctuate. It's like there's something about the anger bit that feels like it carries all the energy. So if you're feeling the anger, it's kind of like you're using lots of energy up. You probably get quite knackered, and then you might just flip back into.
But it's I don't know, anger sometimes, because of that burning energy, because of that catharsis, is sometimes actually quite addictive. Not addictive, but pleasurable, dare I say. Sometimes it's much better to rage than to curl up in a ball and just accept things, you know.
So pleasurable like masturbation, or different?
Probably, well, angrily. I've seen that a lot on angrily masturbate.
Oh, that's a new episode. Angerbation.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and have an angry wank later.
Yeah, no, Kirsty. But I mean, it's sort of, you know, it's more satisfying. You feel like you've done something, you've expelled some energy, as opposed to just moping.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
So here's a shout out for people talking about their emotions. Do it.
Do it. It's sexy.
Yeah, we love it.
Or just comment and subscribe to our channel and comment for us, because we'll listen.
Show us your vulnerability online as well.
Show us your vulnerability. Get your vulnerability out.
Get your vulnerability out for the lads.
Great.
I'm getting that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Okay, should we
Let's
move on? Yep, let's do
one.
We're ready then.
Yeah, I've got it here. Number 4, regret of the dying. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Oh, I love that. I mean, my friends, I mean, I have to say this because you guys are present, but my friends are very, very important to me. Probably the most meaningful thing in my life, and my family as well. Shout out to mum and dad.
Sorry.
Slip that one in. But my friends are very, very important to me. So yeah, this one really speaks to me. If I was losing touch with my friends, that would not be a life worth living to me.
I think it's why I think that's in there as well is I feel in a life, if you look at life on a scale, as you get older, your friends fall back, they become less important. If you think about when you're a child and your friends are everything, and a teenager, you learn, you know, your personality is shaped by your friends. If you think about children who are children of, I don't know, parents of different languages, the child will always have the accent of who they went to school with rather than their parents at home. They influence you so much. But as you grow older, they sort of fall away and your circle gets maybe more intimate, but it does get smaller as opposed to like when you're in primary school.
How intimate? How intimate?
It's been a long lockdown, isn't it, Kirsty? Innuendos, like pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, how intimate we getting, guys?
Well, I mean, yeah, kids in quarantine. Well, it's illegal now. You can't do that.
No, I think it's legal. It's now legal to have someone
illegal.
Sex, I think. Is it legal?
Maybe not in Wales.
I think you can have someone round. Don't quote me on that.
You can bubble up.
You can have Boris.
Bubble sex.
You can have bubble sex.
Yeah, as you get older, your friends get less because I don't know, your family stay there, but you they either sort of start dying, or you're not really at work anymore, or which is sad.
I think there's something that kind of happens early, and I certainly kind of witnessed, you know, this in my family and other families as well, is the kind of like, yeah, you become part of a family, so you have children, and then it's really sad kind of lose touch with friends. And I think I sort of watched that kind of family friends kind of disappear bit by bit, and then I don't know, it just feels really, why do we do that? As if like you can't have friends anymore, like friends are for children.
Well, I guess, you know, things like work often gets in the way. I know a lot of people who, especially as doctors, the amount of weddings and events you're expected to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. Work gets in the way.
You need understanding friends when you're sort of in a profession like this, especially. I'm going to totally like buck the system, and I'm going to grow old in a commune with my friends.
Yes. Yep. I'm so up for that. When we're old and let's have a care home.
I'm in a bloody commune. That's like the best idea. Why don't people do that? They just grow old alone. Like, why? No.
Yeah. If anyone wants to come and join us in our old person commune.
We should do it like not that, we should probably do it in our 40s or something. It's like of a rave house.
We should probably start building it.
Different wings.
with a bar.
Yeah,
And
if
a
anyone,
pool.
anyone wants to invest in us doing this,
Oh yeah,
in money, we'd love
go
that.
fund me for houses and dildos.
Houses and
A
dildos.
real treat.
That was a reference from a previous episode. I'm not just a weirdo, FYI.
Okay, should we? Anything else to say about that one, guys? I think that one's quite a self-explanatory.
Yeah, stay in touch with your friends.
Yeah, connection is so important. Social.
I think it's probably highlighted a lot since the pandemic. I think a lot of people are feeling that now.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
All right then. So, final one. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
I wish I'd let myself be happier.
It's like self-sabotage, isn't it? It's like self-harm. Let myself be happier. Not that I wish I was happier, but let myself, which implies that they stop themselves. That is so heartbreaking.
It's really easily done.
Yeah. I know.
I don't deserve to be happy.
Yeah. I've got time.
Yeah. I don't deserve to have nice things. I don't deserve to have friends. I don't deserve to, don't deserve to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, it breaks my heart.
So for anybody that resonates with, of course you do. Of course you do. All humans, all humans have a right to be happy.
Yeah.
And I think, and I often see this in patients I see, sometimes there's a lot of guilt and shame where people think that they are a bad person at the core.
At the core.
They're a bad person and therefore they do not deserve happiness and success and love. And it just isn't true, but it can be really hard to talk someone out of that when they've had a lifetime of being told that if they've been abused or neglected, they've been told they're a bad person. They take that on.
Yeah. The world has shown them that they're bad because they've been forgotten or neglected, and it becomes part of their internal world. And like you said, they don't let themselves be happy. And actually, sometimes it's the flip, and they punish themselves in various different ways, whether that's through maybe addiction or actual self-harm. They punish, it goes the other way, and they punish themselves. And it's one of the saddest things.
Yeah.
Because like you said, everybody is deserving of love. We are all here. We are all here to experience life. There is no hierarchy of who deserves happiness and who doesn't. That doesn't exist. You are here for a reason. And it's about self-love, isn't it? It's about knowing your worth and what you deserve, and self-esteem. And I think it's our society, it's very low, apart from the odd, actual psychopath like Trump. But most people will err on the side of thinking they're less than they are.
It's really sad.
Stop doing it.
Oh yeah, stop with the negative self-talk. If you catch yourself criticizing yourself, that voice in your head that tells you, oh, I'm not good enough to do this job, I'm not, oh my god, I don't deserve this party people have thrown me. Don't do it. Nip it in the bud. Yeah, you do. You deserve everything that's coming your way.
Or like, oh, you walk past the mirror, oh, I look gross today. You're fucking fabulous.
You're fabulous. And I think, some people might think by, I don't know, if they feel happy that something bad might happen. It's like one of those, it's like, if I allow myself to feel good, something bad is going to happen. And that probably comes from when people are really young, when they're children, and around what their parents do, but kind of responsibility. And so if you have that feeling that if actually I'm happy, something awful is going to happen in the world, then why would you would do everything you could, in your power to not feel it.
And what if I lose the happiness? Some people get very anxious when things are actually going well in their life. What happens when it stops going well? What if I lose all these great things that I have? And so they never allow themselves to get to that stage in the first place.
It's the fear of loss again driving that. It's really sad. Just think about it, because you've lost before you started. You set yourself up to fail by saying, if it does get better, if I do feel happy, then it's going to be taken away, so I should just not bother in the first place. And that's such a sad, this is, if you think about it, that's such a sad position to take, because then you're never gonna feel it, are you?
Yeah, the risk.
But then we're not always, we're not supposed to feel happy all of the time either. And that's another kind of misconception, I think, of our generation, is that this, I mean, I think we see it in our patients again quite a lot, don't we? This kind of idea of like, I don't feel happy, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. This kind of pressure from kind of social media of what life looks like. Everybody's highlights, and comparing yourself and all your shit bits to everybody else's, highlights, it can feel awful. And it's just reminding people that we're human, and we are capable of happiness, and we should feel happy, but at times we don't.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, as long as it's, not all of the time.
Yeah, if it's reassuring to anyone, my life's a train wreck, so.
Oh, mine too. It got a lot worse this week. Like, I'm fucked, guys. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. Let's all suffer together. It's all good.
Yeah. I think social media should come with like a disclaimer, or a warning. Like, those mirrors, and it's like, objects might be closer than they seem, or whatever. It should be like that. Like, people aren't this happy. This is just lies, by the way.
Yeah, life may appear better than it actually is.
Yes.
And I think we know that, it's high. I mean, I still look at Instagram and think, why is her house so tidy? Like, what? How? Oh, here's my child, and look at my perfect house behind, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't. But and I'm like, but. And you'll say, oh, well, it's not real, it's a picture. Yeah, but they got it looking like that for the picture.
Yeah.
How did they get it like that for the picture?
Yeah. To me, that says a lot as well, isn't it? There's
a lot of perfectionism out there.
That's kind of sad in a way.
Yeah.
Well, this is
humans are messy. We are messy.
We are filthy, messy,
beast.
Hot messes.
You dirty pig.
Oh, God. So messy. There's a lot of washing up going on over there, which is just out of shot, but
I'm always in this position because you can only see my alcohol stash, and you can't see the absolute chaos that's going on the rest of the tables.
And does my house look really tidy, so I look like a massive hypocrite right now?
No, it's filthy, Kirsty. I mean, you live in squalor.
Messy over that way.
Yeah. So I guess we tie this up now. I think we've done a lot of talking.
A lot of thinking. We could talk about we could chuck in just any old regrets that we can think of that you might have that are more specific to you on your deathbed.
I've got one. Maybe not. It's not a deathbed one. It's not like. It's not life or death. It's quite vague. I wish I'd never straightened my hair.
Whoa!
Because when I was younger, little black girl in Wales with the big frizzy, my hair used to be a lot frizzier than this, actually. The chemo was actually made it a bit less frizzy. But I used to have microphone hair, and thought I needed to straighten. When I say straighten, I mean chemically. I don't mean like with a straightener. I mean like putting burning chemicals in my hair that used to burn my scalp to straighten my hair to be acceptable. And that actually, funny enough, fucks your hair for life. So all my hair broke. It was horrendous, and it's only really now that I've just left it that it's growing. And well, there's a lot of issues to unpick there. I mean, we could go on forever, but that is a really good example of just not conforming to what you think people want from you, or what other people say, or what other people's what other people put value in being pretty, and just fucking them off really, and just living your best life.
Yeah. Gosh, I wish I'd pursued things like singing and dancing when I was younger.
Oh, Chloe, don't. That gives me chest pain. I had the choice to go to dance school or medical school.
Oh, hold on. Did we all do that?
Did we?
Yeah.
I chose medicine.
Oh dear. Yeah, I was about to go to dance college.
Me too.
Medicine. Oh, yeah, that gives me chest pain.
And then when you watch like dances on the TV, do you get like really emotional? Yeah.
And I still copy like a 14-year-old. Yeah. It never leaves.
and you're doing it in your ward rounds, Kirsty.
Guys, listen up.
Yeah.
Woo. I know.
that about you.
There's still time, guys. We can still form a dance troupe.
Psychiachix dance group.
I can choreograph. I'm good at choreographing. Just saying.
I can't actually dance.
Oh, it's horrible. Like, I wish. I don't know what I wish. What a decision though. 'Cause
I know.
Life.
I know for Kirsty, because me and Chloe had a little Facebook stalk of Kirsty, and you see this beautiful
I know.
red mane that she had. This girl needs to dye her hair.
Yeah.
Dye that hair. She dyed it.
My message then to all you lovely ginger ladies out there, redheads, whatever you want to call yourselves, please don't dye your hair black or blonde. I bleached it. Unless you want to. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing.
Yeah,
that's the annoying thing. Yeah, and so now if I ever go to the hairdresser, now I've got a fear of ever asking someone to dye my hair, because people are like, oh, you can't dye that, your hair is amazing. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. So it is a bit like, oh, I've lost the freedom to just be like, fuck it, this week I want to have blue hair, because then people are like, what have you done to your ginger hair? But yes, for many, many years I dyed it black and blonde, and it was based on what I based it on other women. I wanted to look like other women, and two very specific women actually at two different points in my life. So the blonde girl from 24, Jack Bauer's daughter. I mean, I was never, ever, ever gonna look like her. I actually, in my uni room, I cut my hair short and I bleached it blonde at my desk like this.
This is quite impulsive. Watch a TV program, cut and dye my hair.
I mean, it was quite impulsive. Yeah, one of those. And then the next one, I dyed it brown so that I could look like Kelly Brook.
I mean, there's Kelly Brook's got a lot going.
Hello.
Impulsive boob job. Hello.
No, I stopped at the hair. I thought that would work, and it
less invasive.
So yeah, it took me till my mid to late 20s to stop doing that.
Embrace your authentic self.
What about you, Chloe?
Have I got to say something about my hair, or?
No, sorry, it was just a theme. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, I already said about the. I wish I'd chosen a non-scientific framework. I wish I'd chosen to pursue, singing or dancing. Not that it has to be one or the other, but I definitely gave a second seat to more creative pastimes of mine. I've spent a lifetime in academia and studying and exams, and I enjoyed sport and dancing and singing. And
me too.
Oh, please just follow what you love, I think.
Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Subscribe and be our friend, please. If you leave comments, we'll probably reply.
Yeah, we do have fun with the comments.
Yeah.
Like reading them with wine at 1 a.m. is just one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Signing off.